Hey everybody, hello cultists. We got something special planned for you here today. I'm here with my absolute best friend, JacieTwisted. Say hey, Jacie.
Screw you.
See, we're best friends. We met about 8 years ago playing Rainbow Six Siege and just immediately became friends. And we're two dumbasses that have played video games together ever since.
I still think we met before, right before Rainbow Six at doing something else, but I cannot remember.
Now, I remember us meeting when we met, like when I first met Jugs and everybody else, because you guys were playing Rainbow Six and y'all were doing Terrorist Hunt, and I just joined a random lobby.
Such a cringe game.
It is now. It is now. But yeah, so what we're going to be doing tonight is we have both been playing Sea of Thieves since before launch. Me, last wave of alpha. JC, you got in what, like first or second wave of beta because I got you that key?
I think it was first wave of beta.
Yeah. So we've been playing since before the game came out. And we have so many memories of the game. We met some great friends through Sea of Thieves that we hang out with a lot now. And so we wanted to kind of watch this documentary on the making of it and the growth of the game and kind of talk about some of our fun experiences about the game and some of the fun stuff we've done and memorable adventures we've been on, because the game does mean a lot to both of us. And it's been one of the staples that we've played. We'll go back to Sea of Thieves every now and then and just we'll play for a night with friends and just fucking lose our minds in the game. So
Day one patch.
Day one patch, yep. When the servers wouldn't even come up. They talk about that in this video.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
They don't hold anything back about their screw ups.
See ya, trolls. Let's go.
Alright, so I'm gonna start the video. Have you got it ready to go?
Yeah, do you want to count it down?
Yep, I'll count it down on what would be 4, we're gonna start it, alright? 1,
Okay.
2, 3, go.
Good old rare.
Yeah.
Once was a wait. Fuck? I can't remember the famous one. I think of something else. Now you're ready to head for the horn.
Pirates. Who doesn't want to be a pirate?
I want to visit a pirate tavern on a dark, stormy night and find a crew that's up for adventure.
I want to pick a point on the horizon and explore the vast sea along the way.
Literally, my dreams were for the steamer's release.
Exactly, right?
Freedom, adventure, danger, and reward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pirates have it all. In 2014, a crew of daring game developers set out on an epic adventure.
Come on board for the Sea of Thieves!
Players on a pirate ship together in this adventuring world immediately just felt really exciting.
You have a huge
To
grin on
capture
my
the
face right
thrills
now.
of a pirate's life
Yep.
in one
The-
legendary game.
The
Let's create
excitement
this
of this
massive
game coming out
experience that
was
brings players
insane.
together.
Oh
The
yeah,
voyage
like the
would
first
see
time I
them
told you
discover
about it,
new
you
lands.
lost your
We're here.
mind wanting to play it.
Unexpected treasures.
Because like when I was a
My
little
perception
kid,
of
I
what
used
Sea
to
of Thieves
like.
was shifted
I was always
when
a video
COVID
gamer.
arrived.
I've been a video
And
gamer
stormy
since I was 3
seas.
years old.
We just
Yeah.
couldn't get
And
enough
ever
servers
since this
online.
little kid, I was
We
just
lost
like,
this moment
dude,
for this wonderful
we need
game
a
to
fucking
shine.
big ocean where we can just pirate people.
This is
Why
Yeah.
not?
the most
And
ambitious
Rare
game
gave it to
Rare
us.
has ever created.
How did this game become the most successful new IP for Xbox
Adventures.
since the start of the Xbox One generation?
The
You kind
bullshit.
of need to let go
Yeah.
the way that you would traditionally
No, I really wanna
think
play
about
it.
making something.
We might play tonight after this. We might.
Making any
The
game
new
is
season's really good.
Making new IP is harder.
And deliver the pirate fantasy to fleets of passionate fans.
I love this game so much.
Oh, they're talking about
From every
guilds
corner.
maybe coming to Sea of Thieves.
This is not just a game, this is a community.
Means
They don't
Yeah, my
mention it in
mother
here.
tattoos.
They don't mention it in here,
Marking
but there's
5
something big
years since the
coming.
game's launch.
Yeah, she had really cool tattoos. Yeah, I loved her
This
tattoos.
moment.
This is the story of Sea of
Oh.
Thieves.
Oh, I remember that.
I don't.
It was from the Tall Tales, the original Tall Tales.
I didn't fish those.
Oh, I never did either. We got to do that.
You did.
Did he just shoot?
The cannon.
We had recently
Yeah.
just finished Connect Sports Rivals. It was just a challenging time. There was a lot of pressure. That was a really kind of refreshing time to be able to just take a break and go, look,
Oh,
you know
right.
what, now let's go set
Yeah.
what we
Man,
can
it
achieve
looks
as
the
a
same.
game.
I think our ambition was always Sea of Thieves
would transcend anything we'd done before. We set a team aside to just go and explore ideas.
We knew that there was a new game in development. We didn't know what it was, but we really, really passionately wanted to be a part of it.
They had ideas for what the game could be, but they're also just on paper. There was nothing tangible that players could play.
I guess there's this overall feeling of we've got a compass, but we don't have a map. We know what we're trying to do. We know roughly what direction we're going, but we've never been there before.
Yeah.
I think Rare's always been brave, and I think it's
Here's
awesome
Phil.
when studios challenge themselves to do something unique.
The man that changed Xbox. That's for goddamn
Rare
sure.
games always have an optimistic creativity to them.
That particular sense of humor that Rare has, their unique kind of sense of joy.
They have such a varied history. Everybody has their iconic game.
For me, growing up, Rare games represented
Perfect
at their
Zero.
core
Yeah.
just a wonderful gameplay experience.
Battletoads.
But Rare hadn't released a new IP in almost a decade. Whatever came next would need to deliver some real punch.
Creating new IP, new game ideas has got to be the hardest thing that there is to do in the game industry.
To be at the start of a brand new game at Rare was something
That's
I
not
never
true.
imagined I'd get the opportunity
you know,
to
you
do.
gotta
We
be
knew that the
creative
next game
about
we
it.
did had to live up to the reputation that this studio has. The pressure was enormous.
But really,
I have
the
a bunch
thing
of
that
ideas,
you know
I
you
just
can
know-
bank
I don't
on,
know
you
if
know
they're
that you can count on,
executable.
is Rare.
I don't have enough game knowledge to know.
There's so many kind of traditional multiplayer games like Team Deathmatch, free-for-all, capture the flag.
Games tended to have the same stories, repeated the same. It was always killing other players or kind of competing against others and feeling more powerful.
Or
whereas-
extreme loss.
Yeah, or extreme loss. Whereas we were interested, can we have this broad range of stories that
loss.
could come together?
When you guys
Yes.
invited us to
Make
come
me
and join the
rage
team,
quit
it's like, right, we'll
loss.
take you through the
You've done
idea.
it
And I remember
before.
that was written on a whiteboard. It was like
We've all
players
done it.
created
Yeah.
stories together.
It was less
Yeah, we
about
have.
designers creating scripted scenarios and moments. It was about those moments being created between players. That
They succeeded
vision
in that. They
defined
succeeded in that
the
hardcore.
ambition of where we're going to go.
Well,
First,
It's
our
electric.
crew needed to decide what the game would be about.
Send in the developers!
And we had dinosaurs,
dinosaurs?
Werewolves versus vampires.
The
deep sea exploration.
closer?
How do we make it a world that they want to get lost in and escape into? And that's where the idea of pirates came from.
Everyone loves pirates.
Oh.
Go on. Players
Gold.
on a pirate
That's
ship
great.
together, commanding this vessel together in this adventuring world, immediately just felt really exciting.
If you think about Pirates of the Caribbean, you think about Treasure Island, you think about the Goonies, these were wonderful touch points for us
Yeah,
in terms of
I
the
can
way
see a
we
lot of
wanted the
that in
game
the
to
game.
feel.
I think everyone knows
Yeah.
pirates and the kind
Even
of
at the
mischief
start.
that pirates get up to. That kind of playful mindset, that mischievous kind of nature.
It's like going to the pub. You still have that. You have that kind of fun where you just joke around.
Then going to a theme park drunk together with your best mate. Yeah, that's what it feels like.
And it wouldn't affect your ability to play the game. It would probably enhance it.
We both played it while drunk. No lie.
That's true. I played this game many a times drunk.
Yeah.
It's
Previously, our
fun for not
designers
to.
had been in a world where they were very much creative designers,
pirate,
and then the
yeah.
engineering team and others were the ones who were bringing those ideas to life. With the prototype for Sea of Thieves, that was very different. The engineers would build a lot of the stuff, and then everyone was just digging in and building it and gluing it together.
And we started learning basic modelling and using Unity and prototyping and things like that, and it was so much fun.
We didn't have to think about rendering or graphics or input or anything like that. This took a lot of the technical weight off our shoulders.
So it should be 2 boats, 2 crews. Explore it as a crew, as you normally would, and then we'll have a feedback session at the end.
Hang on a minute! Come find our ship!
So the prototype started with this core idea of, is it fun to sail a ship
I do miss
together
the
as a crew?
camaraderie of it
And then it
all.
was just a
Yeah.
case of, well, where do we go from here?
It was as easy to start building stuff as it was to start kind of theorising stuff. We've got a rough idea of what's important to us and what's not. Let's actually just start building it, and then we'll find out what works and what doesn't.
Oh! What's all that about?
I remember when ships in game would do that. I remember when ships in
The
game would do
process
that.
and that kind of direction
They
at the start
sometimes still
was
do.
build
Yeah, I
a small
know.
piece of lots of different things in
Very
an
violently.
attempt to try and get as quickly as we could a very broad experience that we could play.
Oh,
There's the wheel.
We really had this mantra that kind of
How about your
emerged,
third
which was,
tattoo?
you know what, let's just try it and see. And the proof was always in playing it. And I think the beauty of the prototype was it was so quick to try stuff.
When you want to add a character to the prototype, you can just make it a capsule, and that's what we did. You know, they look like Tic Tacs.
We didn't care about the graphics, we didn't care about the audio, we didn't care about the
Oh my
animation.
God.
It was all about
It's a
the
cheap
fun,
way to get a new
finding the
character.
fun.
I'll give them that.
We played thousands of hours of this prototype, so we could see, you know, the types of things that were sparking that story or sparking that social connection between people.
That's cute.
No, that's me.
Look how they burst into bones.
Yeah.
Zero.
Grab bread and
But that doesn't.
assume it's not there.
Yeah, that fix isn't in this build, so don't do that.
That's gone.
That's gone.
Shelley Preston is my wife,
Andy is my husband.
and we met as QA testers at Rare back in 2005. We got married during Sea of Thieves.
We would live and breathe it. We would work on it all
Adorable.
day. We would come home at night. We would talk about it. We'd wake up in the morning excited with ideas. We went on honeymoon to Disney in Orlando, and we obviously rode the Pirates of the Caribbean ride with different, you know, kind of fresh perspective of like, now we're working on something piratey. They had a kind of riddle trail where they had clues on paper that would send you to the next location.
Yeah.
We looked at that and we were like, this is really cool. We need to try and find a way to get this into the game.
Let's make the most annoying riddles in the game. Put them in the game.
With your back to the thrice marked stone.
Did you not look?
Oh, there it is. Look.
Every day there was a new thing to
That's
figure out
adorable.
how things go,
I know,
how the
right?
players respawn
Like
on
the
their ship.
original
Like the
models
mermaids
weren't
there
bad
in the
for what
game
they were.
now, but it wasn't the first
Honestly,
thing that
true.
charmed
Like
me.
I could see this. I could
We had these
see you
like
playing
things
this
called
on the
It looks like
computer for
something
like.
out of
when you got far enough
Minecraft.
away from your
I love
ship,
it.
a new
The
ship would like come
mermaid.
out of the ocean.
I know.
Your whole position was kind of given away by all these ships like popping up in the distance.
But sometimes you have to go through that process of it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong, and every time you get a little bit closer to what the right solution is.
The beauty of a prototype is it's fun to fail.
And we're about ready to take off.
Yep.
Take off, guys.
Oh, look at the range of that beauty. I came into Sea of Thieves as already a pirate fan, whereas some people on the team didn't have that same knowledge.
We like level designed the ship, which was like actually terrible.
It was close to like a cruise liner or a ferry, but it felt absolutely nothing like a pirate ship. How can I tell them that pretty much everything they've done is wrong and we need to start again?
Greg was like extremely polite, and the next day he kind of brought in like these books of like pirate ships.
And I think they realised that actually this is what a pirate ship should look like. And then the next time I saw it, they'd actually built a galleon.
Yeah.
We're approaching it from
I,
a
the
game
original
point
gallery.
of view where you want somewhere.
I was really impressed with it.
Let's be honest. We did destroy all evidence of it. So.
Part of the design of when you first step out the tavern and you see the ship ahead of you, there's no like grand tutorial that says you need to raise the anchor, you need to lower the sails to get going. There's little moments of magic sort of popping as you play, learning how to interact with this world, like with just you and your crew.
You're going to remember that as an amazing story. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, treasure! Oh, treasure! Yes!
Honestly, I
remember you
felt
digging up your first
confident that
treasure
people were
chest
going to
and
love it
flipping
because
out.
everybody that played it fell in love with it and everybody saw that charm.
Sailing the seas on your ship with your crew was
I mean,
that
that's
kind
when you
of,
really feel
oh my
like
God,
a pirate is
something
when
really
you're
special
digging
here
up
kind
that
of moment.
first buried chest.
Oh no, they're grabbing us!
Oh, their ship's on fire! Yes! Success! We're running away!
One of my team shot the other one in the back of the head, nicked all their stuff and cashed it in. To his great delight, I ended up with a couple of engineers not on speaking terms for a few days.
That's
trying to
great.
find a visual style, a visual kind of look for what it needed to be. We knew we wanted to make something that was charming and invoke that playfulness in our players.
They did a good job with
One
that,
of the
too.
key things that gives us our art style, we wanted a nice simplified look, but we didn't want it to be overly clean. If you look at our concept work, it has painting brush marks within it, and so we wanted to capture that within the actual kind of models themselves.
The defining word for the Sea of Thieves art style is wonky.
Wonky TM is the trademark.
Yeah, wonky.
Wonky in Sea of Thieves. It's a key part of the art style. It's one of our key pillars.
Like everything feels like there's a history.
And I
it's
absolutely love
worn,
it.
It's
this
so
kind of
cute.
ramshackle kind of look to it. Like
it has this
parts were made out of shit
art
parts, and
style
it was
that
kind
you
of like
don't see
hastily
anywhere
put
else.
together.
More pirate's
Like
face,
something
they've
was
got a
gently
wonky nose
brushed,
and
but
a
not
skewed chin
brushed.
because they've been in
Yeah,
lots
like they
of
left the
fights, so
brush
they've
strokes
kind of been
in
at
and
sea a
left in
long
the
time.
imperfections.
They've got dinks and dents, and I think that's just what makes the characters kind of lovable in that sense. It doesn't feel like that uncanny valley kind of like, you know, this is a perfect Disney princess. It's a bit grittier than that. It's kind of real.
It's about kind of accentuating those features to them and making them look unique. We have a level of charm which is to do with that stylized look, and that's something that, you know, is the core identity of Sea of Thieves and a lot of Rare games.
Yeah.
Early into prototyping, our intrepid crew were convinced they had a game that could find its sea legs to stand among the legends of Rare. But first, they had to convince the leadership team at Xbox.
We created our own video saying what inspired us to make a pirate game.
I want to explore lost islands and hunt for buried treasure.
I want to hide out in an island cove and ambush passing crews.
The uniqueness of the concept mean we needed to come up with a different way to pitch it.
But,
when we did the full pitch
fun.
to Phil Spencer and Kudo Sonoda and some of the other leadership team within Xbox, they had no idea what we were doing. We'd purposely kept it secret from them.
It was really important that we were able to demonstrate our love for the game and how fun the prototype was.
So we got to the end of this presentation and then said,
oh, and by the way, you're now going to play it. And they were like, what?
It was basically the whole game, but just with rubbish graphics.
Right away, the game was fun. Even at the earliest of stages, you could be the pirate that you wanted to be. You could play in the way that you wanted to play.
Certain members of our leadership team who will go unnamed, Kudo, became like the self-sabotage.
I came into the industry as a tester, so I like going in and trying to figure out how to break things. And so I just did everything I could to push the group off the given path to see how the game would react.
And so very quickly, people were able to play the game and just get an idea of what it was going to be.
Pull out a map.
Yeah.
Across multiple sessions, Rare used the prototype to build excitement within Xbox.
None of the players know that they're going to be in the same world together, so we're all rushing to try and get them in and get the game started so they don't see each other's names in the lobby before we press start. They're leaving now.
Oh no.
Adrenaline.
That's the time for the crew.
Gotta go.
I like rock. That's good stuff.
I gotta change the sails. Run up top so you're steering the ship.
What can I hit people with?
You've got a sword already, so...
How about raw chicken?
Yeah, you can hit him with raw chicken, you can hit him with anything.
I lost my cutlass!
I wish you could still do that.
That's the island.
I learned
We had
something
Andy
new today.
Preston, who was our lead designer, was the kind of guide in the crew.
We had the playable gameplay prototype, which was very rough looking, and then we had this art diorama. So you could kind of look at both and go, imagine
look at
playing
that, the
that with
original
it
art
looking like
diorama.
that. And it was
That's
like
fun.
incredibly exciting. It's like, man, when those two merge eventually, that's just going to be this incredible experience.
Can I kill him with the chicken?
Yeah.
I'm hiding in a barrel.
Do you guys hear me? The other ship is approaching now.
Get back to the ship. Everyone get back to the ship.
Oh my god, you
Oh,
died!
here it is.
What happened?
Hey guys, let's go close and board them.
There's like gold on the floor. You see that?
Yeah.
I don't get
Why
that.
can't we all just
Which
get
is
along?
actually probably good.
Yeah.
Oh, someone got the green bear error.
Yeah. The early form of the dam, or Fairy of the Dam, too.
You died.
Oh, goodness.
Look at all of you.
Pretty amazing moment we took out their ship. Whose
Yeah,
ship did we play?
that was. Did you see that mask that just went?
We couldn't have hoped for it to play out any better.
Afterwards, they couldn't stop talking. Like, we were trying to get into the next part of the
Oh,
pitch
that's
and everything,
so
but they were just chatting,
cool.
sharing stories all over lunch, and it was just proof of just the whole concept in action.
I admire Joe's bravery on that one, to throw them into the deep end and get them to play. We'd never done something like that before at Rare. There was no better tool than playing it firsthand to kind of truly understand what that game's about.
I felt amazement when I saw the ship's mast just blow off of the cannon.
That was awesome! Oh my god, it was so good!
I was sad when I was abandoned by
Nothing more satisfying than sneaking a gunpowder barrel into an
We
enemy
had
ship
a
and
wheel
watching
of
it blow the
emotions.
fuck
We'd
out
ask
of them
people
from
at the
long
end of the
range.
session to
Or like
write what
Spartan
happened and put
doing
them
it
where
to
they
our
made them
ship
feel.
because he's
I'm gonna go with Rage.
You remember that?
Killing my mate with
Yeah.
a chicken.
I remember Spartan did a
These
lot of dumb
moments of
stuff though.
serenity and moments of
So
action and moments of sadness and moments of elation. Try and make sure we were getting a good
Spartan
coverage
with
over
the
all of the wheel of
like,
emotion, and
the
that
first time-
informed
that
the
was the first time
gameplay
you
that we
played
added
with
into
it,
the
wasn't
game.
It was just pretty clear during that playtest session that there was something special.
The
Well,
more
I
that you
can play with them.
personalize your
Yeah.
gameplay around what you like to do and what kind of person or pirate you would want to be,
But yeah,
the more fun the game
dumbass
became.
got on the side
And
of
that's
our
when I was
ship
like,
with
oh my
powder
gosh,
keg,
true
trying to
believer
get
in
over
this
the
one.
other
This is
ship.
going to be awesome.
It blew us both up. Spartan, you idiot! Why'd you do that? Why didn't it blow up on my back? Oh my god, yes, Spartan, it will blow up on your back. I remember this. I remember this. Like, even the theme music makes me smile.
With approval from
Right?
Xbox, the
Everything
crew
about
weighed
it.
anchor and set their sights on their
Gonna be a
next
pirate.
challenge.
We're playing tonight. We're playing after
announcing their new game to the world at E3 2015.
E3 is the Electronics Entertainment Expo. Everyone comes together to show off the latest and greatest games.
Come
And
together.
if you're going to announce a game, E3 is the perfect stage to do it.
I
But with
remember
E3
watching
on the
this initial
horizon,
presentation
the game still
and
didn't have a
losing
name.
my mind.
There
I
was
was
one
watching
name
it with
we
my
all
buddy
wanted
Steve.
since the start.
Lost
What's your
our
one nomination
shit.
then for the top five?
No
What's
treasure
that?
for the dead.
I was trying to come up with the name.
I think you could call the game something else. You could call it Pirates. No treasure for the dead. See, I even forgot it as well, which is that's not a good sign.
I think we should go back to Romancing the Sea.
Yeah.
Romancing the Sea.
Romancing the Kraken.
It does like giving hugs.
Writing down some keywords that we like
It
on a
does.
post-it note, folding it over,
Painful
and then
hugs.
coming up with our winning game.
Not like the ones they show you in adult cartoons. That's
No,
just
no,
gonna
no.
hugs.
My tentacles are closer to that.
Mad.
So Pirates Code, Mutiny, Skull and Bones, No Treasure for the Dead, and
Sea of Thieves I liked the first time I heard it.
It's just clean. It's a clean name.
It was bold, it was different. I just think it had something special about it.
It captured the world and your place in it. For me, it's like that whole choose your own adventure. It sounds like one of those old books, right?
And it was just as soon as you saw it,
It really-
it was like,
oh,
that's
it does.
Like, that's
Yeah,
it. Like,
yeah. It's so good.
We're gonna have 500
I'm lying.
of our biggest fans who are sleeping overnight to get tickets to everything.
Yeah.
Whoa, is that a Wookiee?
As fans waited for the
He's
show
warming
to
up his
start,
voice. I've had to
studio
do that
head
before,
Craig
too.
Duncan was preparing backstage.
Oh, me too.
Just think he's going to be out in front of like 1,000 people.
We were sort of approaching E3 2015.
Oh, those
there
sales were
was an
fucking
idea
dope.
and a
Yeah.
trailer that was made that was fully CG, that was very cinematic and looked amazing. But it wasn't
Not real.
what we really wanted to do, because we wanted to make sure that our first debut of showing this game was the experience that the player was eventually going to have.
I remember
How
watching
can we
this
take a game
so
like Sea of
cleanly,
Thieves
man.
to something like E3? We knew we hadn't got the luxury of people coming onto the Microsoft stand and playing the game for hours to understand what it was going to be.
I remember that cave. I know that cave. I know that island.
The E3 2015 trailer became this short walkthrough, but all done in-game.
You
This
would know
has
that,
to be
can you?
real. This has to be someone playing the game. I would be literally
I know
sitting with the
James
controller
very
in my
well.
hands and we'd walk through the build, trying to get the pacing correct.
There's lots of games that come
For
out
the
with
Cult
cinematic
Leader
trailers. When you actually go out with raw gameplay, there's also an element of respect from gamers out there. You know, they say, well, at least I got to see the actual game.
Yeah, that's how I feel about all fucking cinematic trailers for video games. I'm like, if it's not showing me the real gameplay, I don't really care.
Show me
Holy
in-game
crap,
graphics.
there's
Show
now
me somebody playing the
5,000
game.
people in the room
Show
and
me what I'm
10
going to
million
see when I
people
sit down with
watching
the
live
controller.
online.
Right. Not some movie.
But I remember this. Like I said, I remember this vividly.
2015 marks the 30th anniversary of Rare. Today I'm proud to give you a first look at a new exclusive game from Rare. Set in a fantastical world, this game will bring players together and give them the freedom to play with limitless possibilities. This is by far the most ambitious game Rare has ever created.
The rest of the team was kind of at Rare, watching it on the canteen. Halfway through, the feed kind of cut out. And then it suddenly quickly came back up and everyone kind of, you know, a sigh of relief.
I wish you could actually, like, you know how you vote people into, like...
Yeah, I wish you could make them walk the plank, yeah.
Yeah, like vote to walk the plank.
Yeah.
The reaction in the room was incredible.
And then
My
at that
phone
point,
was
once they're knocked
going
off, like, once
crazy.
they walk
You
it,
can
they're
feel the
disconnected from the
reactions
crew.
of you announcing something literally
Exactly.
a minute after you do it.
You're putting yourself out there as a
Either
team.
that, or they're just
You know,
like
here's what
not
we're made of,
allowed
here's what we're
to
all
get
about,
on the
and you're
ship
just
ladder
hoping
at
that
all.
that
They can't get back on the
resonates with
ship.
people.
Yeah.
But they're still a part of the crew.
2015 E3 trailer drops.
I think I must have watched it maybe 7 or 8 times or even more.
I was just
I couldn't
shocked.
stop
I had no
watching
idea.
it.
No
I couldn't
idea
stop
they were gonna
watching
make
it.
a
I was
game
blown
like this.
away.
I just remember thinking, like, there's no way this game exists.
I think
Like,
I
how?
immediately
This
sent
looks
you the
amazing.
trailer, too.
As soon as I saw it, I was completely obsessed.
First reaction, oh my god, this is going to be a great game.
It's the game we've all
Oh
been waiting
man,
for.
I remember being
Meanwhile,
so
back at Rare,
excited about it.
Yeah.
Little fondness for pirates. We really wanted them to understand what it means to be a pirate.
That's cute.
So we decided to hire a pair of consultants.
The studio slowly transformed in those early days. So when we were working on the prototype, I remember driving around every fancy dress store, purchasing as much fancy dress stuff I could get, our first pirate gear, bringing it back to the studio.
I was commander. Now I've got nothing. Just me and the grog.
I expensed £200 worth of gold chocolate coins from eBay. That triggered a worldwide fraud investigation at Microsoft because I claimed for it using the wrong claim code.
Oh my
Pirate
goodness.
coats.
He pirated the
started
coins.
writing pirate names for every single person that came in and played the game.
We have one new pirate joining us this week. We have Cheat Daniels. Quite often, the most notorious pirates would be given nicknames.
My pirate name is Vicious Vic, and it's badass. I love it.
I am the Vile Vincent.
Bildrat Beanland.
Grog Swillen Dylan. Devil's Kiss Davis.
Filthy Rich Simmons.
Oh, I love that.
Dirty McMurtry, that's me.
But there was a couple of people that didn't like their names that much.
Yeah, so my pirate name's Horth of the North. Thanks, Greg. I'm not actually from the North, but you know, it rhymes, so there we go.
My pirate name is The Damned Park. I didn't choose that.
There's always an opportunity to put some artwork on the wall. The corridor's filled with artwork, which is from the team itself.
We had wooden panelled flooring. We built big statues that we could
Oh
have
yeah, the
everywhere.
gold hoarder statue.
From the game through to everything we do, we try to make everything feel like it's Sea
I
of
know.
Thieves.
Bang!
Hush now, you sea urchin, just take it to the Lord.
We had a lot of fun for a week or two, basically pulling in a bunch of people from around the studio that wanted to voice act.
He wants them chests unearthed, found and stole. Just give 'em up and then you'll see. Pirate legend maketh thee. Now set sail for destiny. Oh, hail the pirate lord.
I love how they actually changed the lyrics later on for that.
I think we
one. 'Cause that's
naively
Grog
thought
Bales.
it was going to be relatively straightforward. It felt like we'd done all the hard work. The prototype had got all these features and we had a really good understanding of what we wanted the game to be. So we thought all we've got to do is take what we've got in the prototype from Unity and put it in Unreal. Like, how hard can that be?
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, dude. It's like completely
Created
different
in the
graphic
game engine Unity, the prototype for Sea of Thieves was designed for speed. But to create a game that could be shipped to millions of players, our crew had to completely rebuild everything from scratch in a new game engine, Unreal.
Everything has to be able to work between multiple players across a
Unreal's
network.
a
Has to be able to
beautiful
be
gaming system. It
performant
really
in a
is.
massively shared world rather than a little small experience that the prototype was playing out in.
And it allowed us to go a bit slower, a bit more methodically in Unreal, building it for a mass audience, building it where we can take it to scale.
As the Unreal build took shape, the game started to look truly beautiful. But translating the work they'd done in the prototype brought new challenges.
The water physics
that's a
unity
lot
prototype
of
were disgracefully bad.
objects.
Yeah.
It was like terrible. It was just like
I
a
think
sine
every
wave
plank
ocean,
was an
and it
object
felt
at that
amazing to play. It feels like Sea of Thieves now. And then when we got into Unreal, all of the amazing engineers on the engine team just had created this like phenomenal looking
Oh, the
water, and you kind
water.
of look at it and you're like, oh my god, is that going to work on an Xbox? It looks like insane. It's so good. And then we got the ship on it, and the ship was just like, like just bouncing around and kind of reacting to every little kind of nuance.
Oh yeah.
And we can't have that.
So we ported that kind of premise over, where the ship's physics would follow this like really
that's happened
soft
to me
and
while I was
gentle
on the
sine
ship
wave,
before.
and then we had this like noise filter that would go over that sine
Did I ever
wave,
tell you
which
about
gave you
that?
all the kind of beautiful visuals of the water, but that had no effect on the ship's buoyancy or
Perfect.
handling in any way.
How
That's
do
the
you
perfect way to
render
do it.
things that look painterly rather than things that look painted on? If you start, drawing brushstrokes on all of your texture maps, it kind of looks like someone has gone and painted on everything, but it doesn't look like a painting of these objects. They look like objects that have been painted.
We've always tried to push more and more VFX in areas, so the environment, we had VFX to characters, we had VFX to cutscenes, we had VFX to animations, emotes, cannon muzzles. The VFX still needs to feel grounded and real, but then the magical elements that we put on top of that then can be a bit more elaborate.
What we typically do when we're keyframe animation is we're starting from
There's
scratch,
Belle.
figuring out how these characters act, what they're going to do, what they're going to say.
And that's
We
one thing I
film
love about
ourselves
Sea of
acting
Thieves.
it out,
There's no
and then
cutscene.
we use the reference as a basis to animate.
You
I think
make up your
when people
own
walk past
scene.
us and see us, they think we're crazy. They think we're crazy people.
I love that.
We do put a lot of time, attention and love into making sure that the soundscape feels inviting, that nothing feels too oppressive or too invasive in terms of the mix.
The team decided that the music should support the player experience, not lead it.
You've got these sort of
Bit
pockets
calm.
of music throughout the game, and it's almost like the player is the arranger of the score. They could decide to go, I'm just going to sail over here now, or I'm going to get the fishing rod out, or I'm going to play a shanty. You can scale the battle music right back to the moment that your cannonball hit another ship.
If you slap on battle music, you're inferring that they should battle each other.
If you fire a cannonball and you hit another ship, you will get a sting to say, da-da-da-da, you've successfully landed a shot, so that it wasn't trying to sort of push a player down a certain path.
So I think the beautiful artwork, the beautiful water, the beautiful audio and music, all of those things go to create a nice space to just exist in.
It's all just well
When I
fucking
play Sea
done.
of Thieves and I come
It's
across other people,
perfectly linked
most of the
together.
time, if they're not trying to shoot me, we end up getting drunk and playing music together.
You can play the concertina, and another person will join with the banjo, and you'll play the same song, and the backing and the lead parts will actually change, so it actually feels like you're playing as part of a band, so you're not just overlapping on each other.
I remember telling you about that, and you're like, there's no way that actually works.
That was kind of the approach I took with it.
Yeah,
What
and
would
it
the
totally
pirate
does. It's one of
orchestra
my
sound like?
favorite
Things are
mechanics
squeaky,
I've
they're
ever
creaky,
seen in a
nothing
game
quite
ever.
feels like it's polished.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like it, and I don't know I'm saying that a lot, but Sea of Thieves is honestly a beautiful game. Audio, video,
it's just got to be a little
emotionally.
bit warts and all.
John and Robin actually went to
Drunkily.
a shop which sells these very vintage, these very old second-hand instruments.
Went over and just tried different instruments out and see what they had there. One thing they did have was a massive glass cabinet full of concertinas.
We kind of were playing all the nice ones, and the guy in the shop was like, oh, this one's beautiful, this one's beautiful.
We just sort of like play a few notes and go, yeah, it's okay, it sounds a bit nice, it sounds a bit clean. And then at the back, there was just this one that was just looked a bit more kind of beaten up.
Played it, and it just popped to us. It's like, that's the pirate one.
That's it, that's perfect, that's the instrument for us. And the guy in the shop was just looking at us like,
how can you want the really rubbish one? These ones are all really good. We're like, no, this one's really perfect.
I found a hurdy-gurdy and sort of just cranked the wheel, and it was the most horrendous sound. It was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I felt really sort of a little bit sick.
It does take some time to get used to it. To be completely honest, we play it in bits and then we kind of like stick it together. That's the secret.
It's beautiful. That's the perfect way to do it too. I mean, that's just.
If you go back to the early days of Rare, the mantra was keep everything secret. We want everything a surprise. By the time we hit the early days of Sea of Thieves, things were really beginning to shift.
What started as me just walking around a lot of the corridors here and filming meetings and filming playtests, then turned into, okay, we needed to expand the video team.
Cheers! Ahoy there!
The team built a tavern to film developer updates and
I love the
hijinks
tavern
behind
too.
the scenes.
It's one of my
this
favorite things when I
relationship
see
with
it.
our players. We wanted this
Because it almost
one-to-one
looks like it's CG.
communication.
Get
It's
in front
so
of the
well
camera
done. It
as
almost looks like
often
it's
as
CG.
possible to tell a story of
Yeah.
how the game was evolving and what was coming
Oh.
next.
Bloody marvellous. Oh, hi, it's John Vincent from Rare, and I'm giving you, yes, you, the opportunity to be the first person in the world to play Sea of Thieves.
I immediately
That's
entered
right.
that contest.
I'm giving away all expenses paid trips to England to visit legendary Studio Rare.
We ran a competition to be the first in the world to play Sea of Thieves. We invited people from all over the world to submit anything really creative to say why they think they should be first in the world to play the game. And we had just like a myriad of different amazing creative applications. Poems,
I sent him a short
films,
story,
and 3D
yeah.
animation.
We asked you to show us how
Oh, yeah?
excited you
Yeah.
were for Sea of Thieves.
I
You
wanted to
delivered.
play this game
Let's meet
so
the lucky
bad. I
whales
came
who
up with a
visit
short
us here
story
at
and
Rare.
sent in.
We were
I'd have
playing it
sent a
and we were
poem or
having
something.
all this amazing time, but
you're good at
you know,
poetry.
no one
You
from the
are.
outside world
You've sent me some
had
of your
seen
work
it.
before.
When you hand that world over to players, you're going to see things you didn't expect.
Yeah.
That input was absolutely invaluable in kind of honing the core of what made Sea of Thieves special.
It was a bit of a gamble because it could have backfired on us. It could have like just not worked. But fortunately, it did work out the way we wanted to.
Hi everybody.
Here we are.
We're sailing.
Just watching them take their first kind of steps into Sea of Thieves as a world, it was really magical.
Are we emptying it?
Oh yeah, the first time that I made
It
you
just
drink
writes
all the
itself.
grog.
Just the
you
adventures
started
just
stumbling
kind of-
Wait,
around.
there's more?
Screaming and shouting.
Go to the boat, go to
You
the
got
boat. Oh my
trashed
God.
on grog. You couldn't even walk to the ship. You were cursing me out so bad while you were laughing.
We're screwed.
It was a triumph, and with the developers seeing fans experience the game the way that they had hoped, it was time to bring Sea of Thieves to the show floor at E3 2016. But first, Rare had a huge surprise.
3 weeks ago, we invited some of our awesome Sea of Thieves community to Rare to be the first players in the world to play our game. This is their story.
Here I am seated in the theater, and there we are popping up on the screen.
There's a ship to the left, to the left.
Oh my god.
They're going down, yeah.
Captain!
Just remember that moment standing there watching them sort of realizing, oh my god, like this is us. This is our experience of playing this game.
We're just like shaking each other like, what? Like, look at this is unbelievable.
It was an out-of-body experience, and one I will probably never quite experience again.
We decided we were going to go on the show
how was
floor,
that headset?
but the dev team decided
yeah.
we were going to man the stands ourselves. We were going to organise people coming on, we were going to give them t-shirts, we were going to actually play the game with them. It just escalated so quickly.
At the end of the day, our queue was about 3 hours long just to play this game, and we actually had to close the queue.
The love that they had for that little tiny bite of an experience was so energising.
We had such a diverse number of individuals come through the booths.
I am a gamer without sight. I have absolutely no sight whatsoever. So I go on, I play the game, and it ends up working really well, just being told roughly where to steer. And we ended up navigating through the middle of a giant fight on the server between other ships, which was amazing.
The fact that someone who can't see can play the game and have fun, it was just
That's
really
awesome.
heartwarming and
That's
just really
awesome.
validating to see.
That just tells you have great sound design. Oh, here we are.
As we ran up to launch, we had this set of technical alphas where we would release update videos and to try and encourage people to come into our insider program to play the game.
It was time to cast the net wide and invite thousands of players into the game's insider program to find out what the community would do with the tools that they were given.
We got first-hand feedback for the first time. What features resonated.
We would increase the
I will
amount
never
of
forget
players
getting
every
that
time that
email
we did it.
for
We
the
were sort of
alpha.
doubling it every
I
single
never
time. At
forget
every step of the
that.
way, you find
I think I
out
still
kind
got
of
it
where's the
somewhere.
bottleneck.
That was the first time we had people playing at home. It was also a way of us checking that what we built was stable, so that when the game did launch, we were going to be ready.
Blunderbuss fight.
When you embark on a
Not very
treasure
accurate.
quest in this technical alpha build, you'll have a map to get you sailing in the right direction. In this case, a classic X marks the spot style map.
was just so exciting just to play it.
No pun intended, but it was pretty bare bones, you know.
That was a huge new thing for us, and it was an amazing decision to do that because it helped ultimately shape what Sea of Thieves became.
I think I spent 8 hours that night playing.
It was a very unique experience, and what I really liked is how much teamwork you need to be efficient in the game.
And you can see that appetite, especially from creators, to actually go out there and show the world what they were playing. When we launched the beta, where we allowed people to finally stream the game, it just blew up.
Yeah, I got you in the first wave of beta because I got that code and sent it to you, and you were screaming at me.
It was so much fun.
I mean, just like me and you being on the ship
That
together.
What really mattered was that first version of the game. That is what Sea of Thieves would be to players.
As we're getting closer to launch, we're trying to get things done quicker. There's more changes going in. Like, it's just, you're at the height of chaos.
Making any games is difficult. Making new IP is harder. There's nothing to kind of look at and go, yeah, we're that. It's just new.
As a design team, we started out with just the four of us,
myself,
Andy, and Greg and Mike. When we transitioned into Unreal, we started to kind of divide and conquer. You're less involved in absolutely everything about one thing, but there's a real greatness to that because it means we can collectively do more.
20 years ago.
The way we developed Sea of Thieves, we have everything behind feature toggles. The run up to launch, we were looking at the amount of features that were hidden behind toggles, and it was just unachievable.
There's a certain amount of processing power. Every single thing we add eats into that. If we use up all that processing power, the whole experience begins to degrade. And if it runs out of memory, it just crashes dead.
Well, it did that a few times. It did that a few times.
There was so much stuff that we'd built and proven out in the prototype. So we knew we were going to launch without everything, and that was hard.
There was definitely a sense of reality creeping in a way. What is our best foot forward? What needs to be in the first version of the game?
Losing features is always difficult, especially when it's a feature that you're really passionate about.
We didn't get any of the ship fire in, and that was something that we loved. When your ship would set fire and then it would spread and all this kind of chaos that it would create.
Yep, it's a lot of fun, but it's also like, oh god, oh god, oh god.
That's clearly going to be a complete nightmare.
The volcanoes, not having it for launch, it was like, oh.
The biggest one, it was on the chopping block for a long, long time, was the Kraken.
We weren't sure how it was going to work. We weren't sure it was going to look visually great. And it's got animated arms waving around, but it also wraps its
the water
arm
going
around
dark,
the ship
and then the tentacles coming up, and that music
falling
changing.
into the water while it's dark.
For so long, and we almost lost it. I was so pleased when that finally made the cut, and it was right there in that launch trailer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching that and freaking my shit.
This is what
I lost
Xbox
my
is all
fucking
about.
mind
Like
when
the
I saw
game
that.
you would want to lead with is Sea of Thieves.
We knew that it was a game that was going to stand up well, really resonate with the community, would lend itself well to streamers. It was just sort of a natural progression then to put it into Game Pass.
Yeah. I never played on Game
one of the
Pass. I
first
actually bought
releases
my
on the
copy.
new subscription service, Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, I
Sea of
think I have my
Thieves
own
will
copy.
be available
Yeah.
day one to a
I
significantly
pre-ordered my
larger
copy.
audience.
I've got the gold coins
Which meant
somewhere.
that all of a sudden, like, millions more people would have access to Sea of Thieves. A few more millions more than what we were anticipating. So it was quite a shock for the team.
We're launching one of the biggest games that we've ever created, and it was almost like
I
this
never got
live
the
or die
physical copy.
moment.
I got
The white
the
knuckle
digital
moment
copy,
was,
but
okay,
I
how many
still
of these
got
millions
the
of players are
pre-order
going to
stuff.
come in and play, and do the servers stay up?
I think on launch day we
No, the
turned
servers
on
didn't
something
stay up.
like 35 toggles that had never ever been turned on in the game before. And so that was a edge of your seat moment, turning them all on and saying, right, let's see what happens.
Yeah, that server went down a lot on launch day.
I love the art. Wow, it looks so good. The water looks so good.
We got this, baby!
Oh, god dang it. What the heck? What was that?
Am I having a stroke right now?
Oh my god.
There's
so many of them.
Bail the ship! Bail up the ship! Bail up the ship!
What?
Me game crashed.
Why is it unable to load?
What? We lost internet on the Great Sea.
No, my game crashed.
What the crap just happened?
Fucking servers
Why
aren't
is
up.
it not filled with content?
The servers don't fucking work.
I'm so disappointed right now.
Oh yeah, I remember me and you raging at that.
Yeah, because we're super excited.
That Angry Joe.
Is that it? Is that really it?
Sea of Thieves has, like, no content.
Dive into the frothy waters of the Sea of Thieves and discover that they're about as deep as an inflatable kiddie pool as you scour the high seas for adventure,
Well, that's the thing. Everybody went in wanting to be told what to do.
The game was awash with complaints of technical issues, crashes, and when players could play, a general lack of content.
And that's what I loved about it.
Not a great game. I don't think it'll be a game that'll be very fondly remembered. 6 months from now, is there even going to be people playing this game? I don't know. I think time will tell when it comes to this.
We've all been there.
Yeah, yeah.
We all knew that it wasn't the game we felt it could be.
I think we kind of knew that we'd fallen short in terms of the scope of that world, the depth, the different things that you could do. There was definitely a dark period just before launch and just after where it felt like, have we lost this moment for this wonderful game to shine that we'd fallen in love with?
And what absolutely...
Oh, you guys brought it back pretty quick.
Yeah.
Riding the wave of seeing the feedback, seeing the laughing and joking on the streams and seeing how it's like resonating with our players, that wave started to dissipate a little bit and some of the other technical issues started to come through.
We were already past the highest load that we'd achieved in all the tech alphas, and it was accelerating fast.
We had the best and worst problem in the world, which is lots of people turned up. Our biggest scale test up to that point had been tens of thousands of people, and day one, hundreds of thousands of people turned up.
The first 2-3 days, we kind of put out about 40 patches to services to kind of adjust how we were coping with the load.
We felt this was a good opportunity to get out in front of you as people that have supported us, our community, our players, and really talk to you about what some of those issues are.
It became a little bit of a trope, you know, in some of those early days, having a slightly kind of ashen-faced Joe and Craig standing in front of an audience on video saying like, hey, here's what we know is wrong, we hear you loud and clear, here's what we're going to go put right.
We do appreciate all the patience, we do appreciate the support. Believe me, it is frustrating for us as it is for anyone that's experiencing an issue.
We were almost a victim of our own success. We had so many people hearing about the game and wanting to play it that we just couldn't get enough servers online at the time, and so lots of people were experiencing, I bought this game and I can't get into it because the demand's too high.
This was really the first live service game that we'd launched, first real kind of AAA multiplayer shared world sandbox. And with that, obviously the team were amazing and they'd scaled to really match everything that was asked of them up until launch, where it was very overwhelming. The way that some people on the internet speak to each other isn't nice. A lot of things you can take to heart, especially when it's directed towards you.
You sometimes forget that there's literally a team of 200 human beings behind it all. When you have then someone say like, oh, this game's trash.
Yelling at a developer does no good
that
except show that you're
genuinely
ignorant
does hurt.
asshole.
Yeah, I mean, you're
There's
like
a
one
lot of
person
reviews
amongst
of people saying,
thousands
like,
upon
Games Fun
thousands
doesn't
who are
have
trying to
content.
access
There
a
was
server.
always
It's
that
like,
need for more.
I
want more.
I remember being mad, but
Give
it's
me
like
more.
understandable.
I don't know. Most of Sea of Thieves to me is about making your own stories. So I had no problems finding things to go do and taking advantage of all the tools that were there.
You know, it's not the worst game ever. It's just a disappointment in the current state.
It's got these insanely fun bursts of dynamic gameplay that really make you feel like a real life pirate.
There wasn't a lot to experience in this, and that kind of bums me out, but like it's an awesome idea.
I feel like I barely touched the surface. But it has so much potential to grow and become so much more than it already is.
This game is one of a kind.
And it did.
It
really
but
did.
I'm gonna be honest, I had fun.
That first year was about having a point to prove, basically. Like, we know we've got a strong foundation, but how can we give our players what they're looking for? And the roadmap we initially had and how we thought we were going to grow the game, we threw that out the window, didn't we?
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
That's the truth.
Yep. Then
We
it's a
had to work
scramble.
pretty hard to counter the narrative. Well, this is lovely. Where's the rest of it?
Sea of Thieves was Rare's first live service game, which means that unlike traditional games which only release once, it would have the opportunity to evolve with its community and engage fans with new content and gameplay.
The waves of change roll throughout the seas.
you kind of need to let go. The way that you would traditionally think about making something, you would make it absolutely perfect, and then it goes, and then you move on to something else. Where Sea of Thieves is nothing like that. It's a living, breathing kind of product that changes all the time.
I had no idea
it's a
they
real
were
kind of
throwing fucking
forgive the
volcanoes.
term, sea change in how
And
we
that was
thought
such a
about
pain
delivery.
in the ass when they
That
first
first
came
year,
out.
so
You didn't know how to
I
handle
didn't
it.
really mind them.
The skelly ships.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just one of those things
Devil's
where if you
Roar,
didn't know how to handle
Shrouded
it.
Spoils,
Yeah.
and then Anniversary.
And the skeleton ships, that's where we first met Spark. Because
It was never
I
about
put out a
one
looking for group
specific
post,
feature
and
that was
Spark
going to carry
joined,
it.
and
And
that
some
was
of
the
those
first
were
time I ever
things
met
that
him.
the prototype
And
before,
without that,
we
we'd
could
have
just
never met
bring
Arkin,
along and
who's
put it
one of
into
our
the
core
game. And
people
some
that
of
we
them were
play
like
games with
completely
now.
new things that we'd never done before.
For the first sort of 6 months, we released every
So
week.
I gotta
and
say, thank
releasing
you to
every
Rare
week meant
for
that
that,
we could
for
respond very
bringing,
quickly to feedback.
You know, friendships.
We'd actually basically run
We
out
would have
of
never
memory and
met
run
these
out
awesome
of
people
processing
without the
power
game.
the day we launched it. Every single thing we've added since then, we've
Very
had to
true.
go back and try and find more memory and more processing power to be able to fit the new stuff in. We're always looking for new exciting ways to free things up so the designers can go wild with the next update and put a bunch of new shiny stuff in.
This included new voyages.
The Hungering Deep. The first
I
time
get to
crews would
experience that, and
ever
it kills
combine
me.
and work together.
It was
New
fun.
foes to vanquish.
Since day one, I always wanted to fight like a monster, like a creature.
Let's build a megalodon. Let's create this massive experience that brings players together.
More items to interact with.
How did I live before there were harpoons?
I know,
New
right?
regions to explore.
Devil's
did we
Roar is
do
designed
shit
to
without
be
harpoons?
a more dangerous area. There's less resources.
so
Most of the
much
islands have
longer to do
volcanoes on them.
And fishing.
And fishing.
Fishing? That wasn't what? Fishing? Is that really what you want?
I was like, let me
I
fish.
joined a
Because
fishing
people just
fleet
enjoyed
when
spending
Fishing
time
Fur
in the
came out,
game.
and
They would just
we-
go out and just go fishing
We
just
just
for fun.
sat there for
And
hours.
while some fans were
fishing
happy
and
just
talking
fishing,
about things.
others were a bit
And we
more
had
demanding.
We
lot
wanted
of
other
fun.
food. We've had enough
it was just
potassium. This
the
is too much
stories that we
potassium.
swapped.
I really wanted to name our ship. I
It's a
wanted to have
little,
our
too
own
boring
ship
for
as
my
a crew
ADD
where we
butt,
could
but
decorate it and
from time to time
make
it's
it our
okay.
own.
Just like
It's
when
just
players want
relaxing.
something, we will see it in some capacity. We have one person who keeps asking for an owl in the game.
Oh, I love her
Anybody who
outfit.
knows
It's
me in
really
real
cute.
life knows that I love owls. Every day I would post a daily
I remember
request
this. I
for
remember
rare
him
cat
doing
owl
this.
pets into Sea of Thieves. I did a daily request holding an actual owl at one point.
While owls were sadly absent, an update to bring pets to the game was already being worked on, and Rare knew just how they wanted to announce
I have one of
And I
every
get
pet.
this random email really late at night from Joni saying,
I got a
hey,
I got a
wouldn't
skeletal
it be amazing
parrot.
if we
You-
got
yeah,
a
you have the
live
birds that I
monkey
don't have.
on the stream?
Welcome to the Pets and
Oh,
Pirate
this was so
Emporium
funny.
preview
I remember
stream.
watching this
Next
live.
day we get back and I'm like, yes, we've got a monkey. What could go wrong? Well,
The ones that come out of the water.
Yeah, they spawn up alongside the ship and attack you
Threw up
instantly.
all over him. I remember that.
That's unfortunate.
I was watching that on Mixer when Mixer was still a thing, and I pissed myself laughing.
That is what we expected to happen, to be perfectly fair.
It's a little bit on your face.
Is it? Yeah.
No. That is so bad.
I know. Oh,
Is it
the 1-year update. I
The
remember
anniversary
this so
update was
much.
huge.
It did sort of revive the game.
So it was exactly what everyone was craving. It was beautiful. It was really, really a magical time.
Narrative content in the game for the first time. That was something we'd never
Tall
prototyped
Tales.
before.
We
This
did
is
those
what I
so
like to
much.
see. A grand adventure.
Oh, you did. I wasn't part of those times.
Yeah, you couldn't play that much. It
As
was
part of
me
the
and Spartan
anniversary
and Arkin.
release, we released Tall Tales.
Yeah, I was going through
and
all
Tall
that stuff.
Tales was
Yeah.
our first
I'm glad
foray
you threw all that
into
now.
telling
We
a
can play
series of
games together
stories within the world of Sea of Thieves.
Same.
Because I can't think of anybody I'd rather play games with than you and
We
Arkin
had
and the
a
rest of our
quest
group.
book and some logic
Same.
puzzles to try and sell through all 9 of those tall tales. We tried to put puzzles in that would encourage crew members to work together and make everyone feel involved, that were really hard to solve without other crew members.
Sorry, I can't stop now.
It's not about the goal. It's about the glory.
Yep. Although it's still
It's
about the goal,
Pirates
I do a lot of
is
goals
less
to buy
about
all that
exploring a
shit.
sandbox and more about player versus player combat. A whole
That
new
was such a
game
good
was
shot.
added. The arena.
I never played
PvP, Sea
Arena.
of Thieves is an incredible part of the
I'm
game.
still
It's
the
one of my favorite
best
things
shot
to
I know.
do.
When Arena first
You
came
are.
out, that's when it was thriving. It was so much fun.
I could hit the broadside of a barn with a cannon.
It's official.
You are
Sea
so
of
good
Thieves
with
has
one.
become a bona fide franchise that Xbox can
sniper.
hang their hats on. It's amazing what a year
can
of
hit
development
a
support can
barrel
do to a
sitting on the
game,
island.
especially from an amazing developer that
Or
has
moving at full
passion for
speed
the
in a
project they're
galleon.
working on.
Yeah.
You have a completely different game that a lot of
good at,
people
like,
really
the riddle
should give another
quests and
shot.
stuff like that. You're better at the X marks the spot quests, and we're both really good.
Anniversary was a real turning point for the community and for the
definitely.
developers who loved seeing the
Uh,
wacky ways that they were interacting
There,
with the
that
tools
time
that they've been
you were
given.
playing for the Hungering
There's
Deep,
so many
I actually
examples of
became a
mechanics
legend
that we
amongst my
added.
friends.
You could never
As
predict
like,
how
I was always the
players
helm
would
person,
use those
and
tools.
One of the things
more
I
than
love
once
so
I got
much about
told
Rare is their
I was the
stance
best
is
helmsman I've
tools,
ever
not
seen,
rules.
and I
So
was
here's
just
a
like,
tool,
wait till
use it
Patrick
however
sees
you
me,
want,
but then
and
like
they
I
make
went through
sure
all
it's
that bad
balanced,
stuff,
or
like
at least they
I
try.
just
Yeah.
I didn't refind my skill no more.
So much weird stuff, killing the gold hoarder
Like
with snakes
stealing
only.
that fort key,
Using the
and
lanterns
running
and
across the entire
communicating from the
server
ship
with
to
it.
the islands. Using
And we had
Morse
somebody on our
code.
crew that
Our
took the
community
fort
is
key and
super
jumped off on that
creative.
island.
We found a way to take a
And
mega
we
keg
just-
and a
that ship
harpoon
chased
rowboat
us and
and
chased
launched
us and
that
chased us
thing
and chased us.
to ships like a keg catapult or something, and it worked. It was the most ridiculous thing that we've ever done.
We have these things called player immortalizations.
You'll see it littered throughout
Oh,
Sea
yeah.
of Thieves. There's different things that kind of mark maybe the first person to fall off.
Griffith!
The first person
Yeah.
who died on the ferry, the damned.
The most pirates slain during the technical alpha. So, you know, and they're like on a wanted poster, this really feared pirate slayer.
Yeah.
When the game launched, we thought it would be cool to sort of make like really rare Sea of Thieves controllers.
I have the
We
purple
should,
one.
we
I have
should
the
get-
purple one.
Holy cow, check it out! So what Rare had done is actually put this as an Easter egg inside the game, you know? To be inside of a game is quite legendary, you know?
You can see how much love and care is put into the game, and I think the community and the players are a
You really
reflection
can
of
see
that,
how
of
much
the
the
love and
developers
how much
love
work
this game.
and dedication they put into it. I'm getting
Girl,
choked
I
up.
love your room. And you're like,
Sea of Thieves is extra special for me because I am playing with my wife. She never played video games before, and so that's just really fun to share that with her.
Without the community, I wouldn't be able to play. Once they've realised, you know, what I can do, what I can't do, what I need help with, it's brilliant. This is the only game I really play where the community is such an integral core pillar of it.
I do have a health situation, so I can't really work a normal job. Through streaming and then getting into Sea of Thieves, it helps me kind of escape my reality when things are tough in life.
Yeah.
And you're not going to keep
I hear you
thinking
there,
that
but-
you're ill all the time.
Yeah,
My
especially
youngest
like me.
brother
I,
passed away
with
at
my health
22.
conditions, I have to
Really,
stay
the only
home,
way I
really.
could get my
And so
my other
streaming
brother
for the
to
past
talk
couple of months
was
has been
to
just
get on a
such
game with him,
a
and
relief to me.
he introduced me to Sea
Being
of
able to
Thieves.
just
It
sit
gave
there and
us a
talk with
place that
people
wasn't
and build this
awkward,
community that I've
you know,
built
to laugh
with,
about
you know,
things
it's
because we
small
were both
community, but we're there.
hurting.
Sea of
we talk
Thieves
every day.
gave me a lot of purpose in my life. It pushed me to make a
Oh, he's got a
podcast.
fork key in the
It
background.
pushed me
You see it?
to hone in on streaming. It taught
Look at
me
his
how
case.
to create a community, and people came. They've changed my life.
Like over his left shoulder, there was a fort key.
After some significant changes to its original heading and a year of
didn't see
intense
it.
work, Sea of Thieves had built a passionate community who'd fallen in love with the
shit.
world that Rare had created. It finally looked like smooth sailing ahead for the game, the developers, and their burgeoning band of adventurers.
And then 2020.
yeah, we all struggled during that time.
The modern Black
I think
Plague.
what was challenging about 2020, you know, we didn't know how long that was going to last. We didn't know how we were going to work.
As a leader of an organisation, you always think back to experiences you've had before and how can you draw on those. And the pandemic was totally different to all of those.
It was an incredibly surreal time. Wow, everything that we do to run a business, you know, it doesn't fly anymore.
Before we even think about productivity and what we've got to do and what we've got to ship, it's like, how do we make sure that Rare, people's team, their project, the people they work with is safe?
So I was in the studio for about 2 months in person, getting to know people, figuring out what everybody did, where everybody sat, how things worked.
That's gotta be
and then we
rough
would
being
just,
new and
everything
just getting used to the job and then having to work from
We were a
home.
very social focused
And
studio.
having to be on your
You
own
know,
without
everyone
all
was
that
always looking
feedback
over somebody's
constantly.
shoulder,
That's gotta
calling
be
somebody
rough.
over to have a chat. Doing that remotely with, you know, a team of 20 or 30 people.
No comment.
Was something that, you know, we just didn't know how to do.
It
was a hard time.
I didn't get time off. I was
Just
forced to
this
work
thing that
harder,
interrupts
so I
the
just
whole
I don't really talk about the time.
My hubby had leukemia as well, which didn't help. So we were really shut off from everyone.
I had a lot of concerns that I'd lose touch with my friends, that I'd come outside and be like, oh, my friends don't remember me anymore.
So it was really trapping.
She
It
has
was
such
really
great
like you were
tattoos.
just
I love her
stuck.
tattoos.
I'm about to get my first one.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
Get a target on your butt cheek?
No, it's gonna be on my forearm.
So what you did instead was you connected through technology, online video games. You think this is my first rodeo?
My perception of what Sea of Thieves was shifted when COVID arrived.
I got their flag. I'm happy about that.
Originally it was a game, but it meant so much more to people post-COVID.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people
Oh,
that
man,
used
that's
it
a
almost
good
like a
time.
virtual chat room to just sit
Yeah.
on their ship and hang out. I
there's a
found
lot of cool people
Sea of
that we
Thieves and I
met during
found
that
streaming and I found Twitch. And
Oh.
that was my release. That was my
It's like
going out with friends.
like my most
and
legendary
getting
time
that
was
bit
like
of fresh air.
just before this
It was
time.
a place where I could enjoy something and just be free.
Oh my god, you shot me into that bee!
Like it's almost like a distraction simulator, right? Like where you just go out, you start
shot a
playing, and
straight out of a
then you
cannon
just get
and
distracted
I
by
got hit
different
by a
text messaging
cannonball. What
bottles,
the
other
fuck
players,
kinda-
and it's just that
saw that.
opportunity to chat, to laugh,
Oh, that's great.
and hear voices and have that human connection.
I'm proud to be part of an industry
Oh, what I do
that's
that
able to offer
Should
that
do that to
opportunity for
What?
people to connect.
It's really brought it
The
home
group
that
with
it's
the
not
monkeys
frivolous at all.
dancing was
You know,
cute.
that
was
people
cute.
need to be entertained and they need something to do that's outside of the chaos that's around them.
And with that came the responsibility of making sure that it matched the expectations of our players.
Oh, I remember
Nobody could have
this.
expected what came next.
And there was this surreal moment where we were put in touch with
I
the
was
creative
at my
team
sister's
at
house. We had
Disney.
just finished eating lunch, and this trailer launched. And I watched it with my brother-in-law, and we both lost our fucking minds.
Jack Sparrow, what? Captain Jack
Sparrow.
Because you know, people freak out.
Caribbean?
The Pirate's
Yep.
Life was our collaboration
Everyone
with
flipped
Disney's
their
Pirates of
lids.
the
I
Caribbean.
sent you that, and you watched it like an hour later,
I still
and
can't believe
immediately
that
got
when
on
you say
Xbox and
those
started
words.
yelling
One
at me.
Davy Jones.
Yep.
And then the first time we played it, because I didn't want to play it without you. I didn't want to play it without you.
Everything
So the first time we played it
on the
together,
down low, no one knew
we were
what was
just
coming. Like
geeking
everything you ever
out
wanted
over
in this
so
game.
much cool shit that was in it.
Everything.
And then to actually get to go play it like a week later.
Oh!
Falcor!
Rascals and scoundrels, villains and
Oh, yeah.
knaves, drink up, me hearties.
They really did
toast to
just like,
piracy
hey,
and
we're
its
doing
many
this, and a week
shiny
later they
rewards.
released it.
The quote that always stuck with me that they shared in that very first meeting was, "We love your game, and we could go create a game like that, but why do that when we can just work with you?" Inside, I'm kind of exploding at that point.
Mike's bits
That
broadly
has to
kind
be
of
the
rested on
coolest
what
thing to
would
hear
happen if
Disney
Davy
say.
Jones discovered our world.
Yep.
Destroy that!
It was such a dream come true for me personally, having grown up wanting to work at Disney initially, wanting to be a Walt Disney Imagineer, but then the responsibility of, if Jack Sparrow's going to have adventures in the Sea of Thieves world, it needs to be done in an authentic way.
And you must have heard tell of my heroic journey to acquire this, the greatest pirate treasure of all.
Oh, finding the Black Pearl
You are
for the
in
first
Jack
time.
Sparrow's kind of memories through the
Oh,
Sea
yeah,
of the
that was
Damned. Part of
legendary.
those memories are what happened in the narrative of the original 1966 ride.
It's that kind of notion of being on a theme park ride. It's like you're taking part, so whilst Jack Sparrow's in the game, he's there to assist you, he's part of your crew.
The shores of gold.
Kind of.
The sound of that.
Yeah.
Let's go
It's
there
not like he
next.
does anything useful.
While the crew relished the challenge of staying true to
Oh,
Pirates
that
of the
fucking
Caribbean,
pirate head
they
just
also
would not
had
shut
some
up. Oh my
creative
God.
freedom.
It's the one part that was
actual
just
landmark
annoying.
from the actual Disneyland. There was a problem that
No,
we
I
were
still
trying to
didn't
solve,
finish
how
all the
to block off a
Part of the
route.
Caribbean
In
stuff.
general, the
finished
team
them. I
tends
did
to
the
just
last part
build stuff
myself,
to
and
show
I
these
wanted
cool
to punch
ideas
myself in the
off,
balls
expecting to
repeatedly.
get dismissed and thrown out. Like, we can never do that.
Okay.
There's no way we could
That
ever
hard?
pitch blowing up
Yeah,
a Disneyland.
doing it by yourself is rough.
And
'Cause I
Mike
did it by
turned to
myself
me
on a
and just
sloop,
went,
and I just wanted to die.
"Oh, we've got to do that now."
Captain Jack Sparrow, show yourself.
Did you hear that?
miserable cur.
Yeah.
You had this really clear goal, it was so exciting, and it kind of helped distract you from everything else that was going on.
I mean, I was homeschooling in one room and then going to the other room to have a call with Disney about what we were doing.
It was fun getting to work with Shelley on it.
That was really cool because we got to kind of work really closely together again, and it's something that I really enjoy doing.
The hardest update we were ever going to do was done in the hardest circumstances of all just working from home.
There's
If we
a
can do that, we can do any
they nailed
update.
it too.
During those
Like,
challenging
they made it
times
work
that
from
everyone
home,
was
but
very
they
kind of
nailed
supportive.
that.
They always have been at Rare.
Yup, I agree.
For me and Andy personally, it was a very difficult time because, you know, Andy's dad, my father-in-law, sadly passed away during that time. So there was a lot of kind of difficult time in the family and grief and heartbreak.
And then some of the last things I ever spoke to him about was, here's a pirate's life, you know, here's what we're going to do. Like showing him concept art
actually,
uh,
for like what it's going to be.
COVID sucked for
I had that
everybody. Like, I
personal
lost
kind
an
of pressure on
uncle.
myself to kind of realise that, and you know, not just for players, not just for myself, but like in memory and in honour of him.
It was rough. But the fireworks.
Sea of Thieves was just one of those games that just hit.
I
right
absolutely
for
love
in
the
lockdown.
fireworks. It's a nice
There's
touch.
been so many wonderful stories that we've heard of people just saying, I'd have totally lost it. But this game kept me sane, kept me alive.
When you can hear a game that does exactly
whatever
what
flag
that
you
did,
fly,
that's
whatever
just,
course you chart, I hope
You don't
that
hear about
everybody's days are filled with as much camaraderie as mine. We are pirates, yes, but we are people too.
All of my friends were still with me.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves
and
left
we
shoulder,
still got
like,
to spend
right up in
time with
the
each other.
case.
It's not normality.
Oh,
but it's
yeah,
some
there's
semblance
that.
of normality. You know, just being around people.
It's not the pandemic that brought people together, it's people that brought people
Oh,
together.
there's a lantern up there.
The worst
Yeah, I
days,
saw that.
You know, the day my dad passed, I didn't know what to do. So I went to my laptop and then I sent out an hour request because it made me happy.
We were due to get married in the summer of 2020. And then COVID happened. So I got the random idea to put it out there that I wanted to get married in the seas and see if there was anything that stuck.
The post got passed around the studio, like saying, how can we help out with this?
Oh,
We started up a custom
don't tell me.
server for them so they could celebrate with their
What?
friends.
We settled
Oh,
on
that's so
Smuggler's
good.
Bay being our backdrop.
Aww.
We pulled all of the boats into that
Oh,
bay and had them
shit.
all set up nice and neat and even.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then we
man, that pulls my
decorated the
heartstrings right
entire
there.
beach. We had a seating section, we had an altar, we had treasure piled all over the place.
I was right in the middle of saying our vows. We had a skelly pop up with a keg, and I just remember like turning around, just running.
I mean, the whole entire time, everybody was just laughing and having
That's
the
wonderful.
world's best time. There's never a dull moment on Sea of Thieves.
That's true. There
While
is.
many of us love to explore
No, I
every
disagree.
intimate detail of a title
You disagree
through
that there's
multiple
a dull moment?
playthroughs, these next nominees
Yeah, man.
have held our
There's
attention
been voyages
through
where
consistent
like nothing has
updates to
fucking
their
happened and I
games
turn in like
that
a
managed
million
to
gold.
engage,
Yeah,
delight,
yeah.
and tell a story. And the BAFTA goes to Sea of Thieves.
They should
Hey
win
everyone,
every
a bit
award
weird
they
to
get
be
voted for.
recording this video not knowing if we won or
However,
lost.
I
remember
sometimes
the three
wonder
of
if
us
I
actually,
lose
we were
sight
on
of the
Discord
spirit of Sea of
call
Thieves. I
at the
get too
time
concentrated
during-
on gathering gold
And we were
instead of
watching
just
it
having
live,
fun.
and you know, they were called out Sea of Thieves, and we were like banging the table. We were like pounding the table, crying.
And Joe's like, you're missing
was
my
like,
speech.
listen to my speech, it's funny.
If we have won, amazing. If we haven't, not so amazing, but you won't be seeing this video anyway. But is it like a bear accepting a battle in the woods, or is it a tree?
Oh, that
falling
was
in the
great.
woods?
My sound
Pirates
cut out.
Life
I
was
didn't
kind
hear
of
it.
an
He
amazing
was saying if you
moment
saw
for
the
game.
video,
Since
great,
then, we've
great. That
delivered
means
some
you
of
won.
our
If you
best
didn't see it, well, that
updates
means we
ever.
lost. Oh, this update. Oh, God.
Those who sailed the sea, though there's always more.
When they announced you could name your ship, I fucking
We
started
added
screaming.
captaincy.
We announced it with the song with John McMurtry singing
Mm.
beautifully in it.
I really should take care. I should really play more of this update. I haven't really touched it.
It just
Literally
wouldn't let me they wouldn't let me name my ship what I wanted to name it. That made me
introduced
so
seasons
mad.
to the game. With each season,
The Angry
comes a whole
Drunkard or
new
whatever
Yeah,
it
it was
was.
the Angry
features.
Drunk.
They offer
They
new
wouldn't let me name
cosmetics
it
to
that.
unlock.
new Voyage types.
We've got shrines, which are these underwater, like, expansive islands.
Yep,
Fireworks, new pirate legend
Had to go
voyages
with
and
the
content.
angry grogger.
It's really nice as an artist as well, because my work is
like that too,
changing
Yeah,
all
it
the
fits
time.
I think.
Adventures offer a narrative episode every month.
We can rebuild Golden Sands.
Oh yeah? And who's gonna rebuild it? You?
Players kind of got to decide the fate of the Golden Sands. You are responsible for evolving the Sea of Thieves and defending it or trashing it, depending on what you choose.
I'm so
We
glad
also
they
added
rebuilt that
sitting.
too. The
We actually
rebuild version
created
is
a
so
stool
good.
item. The first forum post that came back was, this stool feature is the stupidest thing Rare have ever made, full stop. And that will forever be a badge of honour for me. If you gather up 4 stools and decide to sit in a circle and tell each other stories, then that's perhaps one of the most powerful features we could have put in the game.
I didn't
That's
know you
massively
could do that.
big-headed of me to
Oh
say.
yeah, you can pick up a stool and carry it
Please
around
don't
now.
use that.
That's
But
cool.
one feature was no longer right for Sea of Thieves.
Retiring the arena was a super difficult decision. You know, a
was
lot of
the
work,
right
a lot of
decision.
effort went into that.
Kind of split the game into like the esporty version of it and the main game. It was a fun mode, but it was a side mode. It's very time intensive and resource intensive.
You know, we want Sea of Thieves to feel like Sea of Thieves and not to start getting fractured and separated.
Yeah,
did play
thank you
Arena.
actually
I
for going back
enjoyed
to the
it,
original
but then
style.
as I played it more, I realized
in the
like,
game.
this isn't what brings me back to the game.
It was the right decision. Our aspirations were very much focused around adventure, and it was backed up and driven by the fact that that's where our players were.
There were so many sweaty people just playing for the
I feel
sport
great
of
about Sea
it.
of Thieves. There were times when I was worried
To be the
it
best.
wouldn't live up to its potential. It became an even greater piece of work than what we prototyped.
And maybe that's their idea of fun. That's great.
A story
but it's
that
not everybody's
we probably
idea
never
of fun.
imagined would ever be created.
It wasn't this game's
That's
original
when I feel
intention.
like that's what the
Right.
vision was supposed to be.
The game has garnered this incredible community now. We definitely achieve that goal of players creating stories together. We hear them every day and we all take absolute joy in them as well.
We've had the privilege of being able to go to lots of events. You get to meet the people who are out there actually playing the game, and you get to listen to their stories, come back from those events. Everyone's like super buzzed because they come back and they can sort of spread that energy back into the team.
Sea of Thieves Fest. It was due to happen in 2020. The world conspired against that, but they managed to pull it off in 2022.
Is that the longest Johns?
Our expectations were just minimal. We had no idea how much of a success it was going to be.
We
are the Longest Johns. This is Dave.
Oh yeah,
Robbie.
Hey!
Oh, we love the Longest Johns around here.
I love these guys.
You'd have
They're
guessed
great.
it had been going for many years and they'd had loads of experience in it.
Loads of people did go from the team and just, I think, were blown away and slightly overwhelmed by it, you know, that there was this love for it.
There isn't a community that I've seen out there that is as connected and involved as the Sea of Thieves community.
Plans for the Sea of Thieves Fest for this year,
Have
bigger
you-
and
have
better
you heard
straight
them
away.
do,
We saw what
the
we
Athena's Fortune
achieved
song,
last
We
year.
Shall Sail
We've
Together?
already gone bigger.
800 pirates.
That's
All
so
tickets are
beautiful.
sold out.
It's become more than a game now. People carve their
Oh
own
god, I
life
wish I could go to
adventures
this
from
Sea of
this
Thieves
game.
Fest. Come on.
Yeah. Those so they all have beards.
Yeah.
Got no beard, got no beard.
Yeah.
Rare
Got no
truly
beard.
lives up to their name. The heart and soul that they put into the game
Hey,
is
Hawkeye Joe.
felt all the way across.
This is not just a game. This is a community.
Oh,
and
I
it's a
forgot about
community
that
where
song.
you can meet people that will change your life.
They just put out a new album
I
too.
get emotional.
Yeah, they put out like
Thieves, and when I
3
started
in the past
streaming,
like
it
couple of
actually
years.
made me have
one
my
just came out
first
like
income.
yesterday.
I am a
fucking
full-time
dope.
content creator now with a decent following on Twitch and on YouTube, and I'm able to do this full-time supporting my family. Sea of Thieves is the reason I started. They support the creator side of this game in a way that I haven't seen any other developer do.
I
Holy
love this game
shit.
so much. It
Look at
has
us so
shaped
much.
so much of my career with streaming. It has touched my
I
heart.
think my brain is
in
taking a
ways
real
I can't
register
even
exactly what
describe.
just
I
happened.
never
I
in a
know.
million years
We've done
would have
that before,
thought that I
too.
would have met the person I was going to spend the rest of my life
Get
with
ready to do something
on a video
awesome and then
game.
I really
lightning strike while holding a
enjoy
keg.
sailing with our girls.
They're 11 and 12 now. They sail the seas with us.
I have 2 daughters.
Oh, it's a whole
They're in
family
their
sailing
20s
together?
now.
That's
It
so
becomes just a place where a family
kills
that's
me, I
not
love
all
it.
living under the same roof anymore can still have those nice moments together.
Sea of Thieves has been such a huge part of my life. It means the absolute world to me to be able to be part of a community that can help shape a game, that can help create a world.
Oh, I bid farewell to...
Starting Sea of Thieves felt like the start of a new era for Rare.
That's
Working on such an ambitious game, it's a dream come true on so many levels.
There's something lightning in a bottle about Sea of Thieves that you can't quite put your finger on, but it was just the right people at the right time with the right idea.
But as we went through lockdown,
They gave the world what it needed.
Games in general really mean to people.
Exactly,
and I think that's,
exactly.
you know, that's the course we're charting with Rare.
Rare
Pirate
games
camaraderie,
just
apparently.
have- there is nothing like Sea of Thieves. There is nothing like the way you feel when you play Sea of
You
Thieves.
can't do Viking
You know,
camaraderie.
a
That's
unique
too
style,
violent.
but also a style that can last for so long.
You know, the art team, the game team, the engine and rendering teams, they've been what's let Sea of Thieves carry on going for this long and will let it carry on going for many more years in the future.
People care about this game like more than a lot of people care about their games. It's a privilege to be able to say, we're trying to make it better every single day.
5 years since release, that's a huge amount of time, but we've done so much within it
Oh,
that
yeah,
it honestly
they've
feels
done
like a
a
blur.
That's the exciting thing with Sea of
day
Thieves, right? We've still got
They
so
need
many
to
ideas, so much
release a little
potential,
bit
so
more
many opportunities. That what's
content
next
to
is
do
that
with
we
your goal,
keep
though.
making
Yeah,
content for
I
the
agree.
game. We keep
I agree.
going from strength to strength, and we keep
Because
building on.
after
this
you have
core
everything, which I
and
don't,
this magical
it's
experience.
just there's a lot of players I know that
I don't
do,
think the game will ever be done.
and they're just
I think
like,
it's
there's
been
nothing for me to do now.
a voyage of a lifetime to get to this point.
I would love
In
to
many
see
ways,
them
the story
do
just begins.
a new ship type.
I've heard you say that every
Like,
year.
give us that Man of War that they've
I'll be
been
saying it in
teasing for
20
years.
I'll be saying it in 20 years' time. Still
Oh my god, yeah, what is that about?
Like a 6-man ship. Oh, I stopped the thing!
I love this song.
Oh, me too. I gotta stick through the credits and see if they do anything. Fresh out of college with grades straight from hell, I browsed for a trade in which I could excel.
An ad for a ship in need of some manning.
Like, I'm sitting here tapping my foot to this because this song is just my favorite.
Right?
It's such a hacky song, you know?
Yep, I love listening to this in my car when I'm delivery driving.
I do the
sometimes.
same thing! I'll crank it up whenever I go to pick food up.
What's it? What's that thing spinning? Somebody should stop it.
Oh, what's this? What's this?
Hi, Jared.
Hi.
You alright?
Oh.
Hi, it's me, the one you forced to see notifications about owl requests every day. We will be adding owl pets to Sea of Thieves.
Will you really?
At some point.
Owls!
We will. There is concept art. I can show you concept art.
Oh,
You
they
wanna
got
see
concept art?
I would love to see concept art.
It's going to be janky because I don't know if
Oh,
I can
he's
show
so
it on screen.
touched.
So
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna get
You can say he's
webcam,
about to
no
cry.
Screen. Look at this fella.
Oh my god, it is so
Oh,
cute!
it's cute.
And there's its butt.
Oh my god, I need one. Immediately.
This is,
Put it in
you
the
know,
game right now.
Owl whip. Owl work in progress. So,
Oh, he's
owl
about to
pets
cry.
are coming.
I'd be crying. I'd be so touched.
That's just...
That's so precious.
Oh my god.
They're like,
it looks-
we've heard your pleas for so long. We got
It
you.
looks so cute, too. It's in that same style of everything in the game, where it's just got this sense of fun to it. Like, it's hard to describe why I think this game does so well, other than everything in it looks fun.
I could break it down for you if you like.
Okay, what's your take on it?
Okay, so you got this game, right? Not only do you have to rely on friendship and working together as a team, let's be honest, working together as a team, we're human beings, we all just want to like get along for the most part. It brings us happiness whenever we just kind of like things work according to plan, and when everyone kind of contributes, it makes it so like our goals get, achieved much faster, and therefore we have a sense of community, right? So on top of that, this game has a wonderful way of instantly giving you that, because you don't have a guide. You have to guide each other.
Right, yeah.
And on top of it, you have hostile forces to deal with, both player, which are smarter, and then dumber, which are the AI, which kind of gives you the difficulty of challenges, right?
Yeah.
And then it gives you different kinds of obstacles for your team to overcome. And you have a definite reward, which is gold, but you can also have the chance of having very big loss, because literally you and me almost turned in like thousands and thousands worth of gold.
We had
just
easily
get
about
smoked.
100,000, and then we just got fucking wrecked. And I remember us just
Right.
sitting there. We got mad, but then we were like, okay, that just means we need to do it again.
Exactly.
We need to go back in. We had so much fun. Let's get back in there and get those chests and do it again. Because
The game, yeah.
I mean, there's not many games out there that you feel that way about when you lose.
That is true. That's very true. I mean, there's, how do I put it? There's a type of magic to it where you simply just, as long as you have your friends, it always feels like it's another try is worthwhile.
Right. And again, it's just one of those things where you don't see that often. Because people would much rather put out a game where, oh, you lost so bad, but...
And there's a surprisingly big random element to the game that really kind of gives it that unexpected adventure feel to it. Because if you run into the Kraken, you're not sure what to expect. You're either going to have like a, oh, fuck moment, or like, fuck yeah, let's kill it kind of moment.
It depends on your crew. It depends on your crew.
And even if you do have a negative experience, at that point, it's kind of just like, oh, that's the Sea of Thieves, and you kind of roll again just for like another chance at trying it again. So it's like, it's just fun. It's a fun game to throw up into the wind for a game of chance, but also just like you can do whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to necessarily go straight for the goals. You can go and pirate people if you want. You can just like, you can be a merchant and then decide to side pirate people as you pass them just because. Or you can just be like minding your own business, or like, not a business, but you can start your own alliance. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say.
And that's one of the
gather
things.
Other ships.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I was talking about that is possibly coming to the game, because they mentioned it in one of the things back at Christmas. You know how they always at Christmas they do these little fireside things where it's just the Sea of Thieves tavern and the fire, and then every now and then there's like a little snow globe, and the snow globe it'll zoom into the snow globe and you'll see a character talking, or you'll hear somebody talk, and it was Flameheart, and he said, they've started these businesses, they've started these guilds, that is not the pirate way, or something along that. So there's a distinct possibility we're going to be getting actual guilds in the game, and that is
interesting.
I think it would be exciting. I mean, imagine eventually your guilds get like a little private hideout.
That'd be cool and all, but it would also threaten like fracturing the game between certain players, though, because there's going to be players who are just going to be wanting to, they're peaceful. That's all they want to do, and then you're going to have guilds that are going to be like, we kill people.
Right, but I mean, you've got that anyway.
I guess you're right.
You've got that in the game right now, where there's just certain people that are like, I don't care about going and doing any of the treasure quests or killing the skeleton bosses or doing the tall tales. I just want to get in there and sink other people's ships because I think that's more fun. And so,
true.
And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do to have fun, great, go do it. Because that's what this game is all about, is getting into it, finding what you enjoy doing the most, and having fun with it. Get you a solid crew together. Get your friends that play together. And go and, everybody's got something that they're good at. Arkin's good at causing trouble by getting on another, rowboat with powder kegs stacked to the brim and sailing it into somebody else's ship 40 miles away from where you are, because he's a goddamn psychopath. Spartan's good at blowing up our own ship or hiding from sharks.
Yeah.
I've got to tell that story. So the first time I met Spartan, it was a looking for group post. Cursed Sails had just come out. The Megalodons had been out for a little while. I could use my hand for the first time in a couple of months because I had really bad hand surgery, and I wasn't able to really grip a controller or even hold a drink in that hand. And so the first day that I'm back was the day that Cursed Sails came out. I immediately downloaded the update. I got on look for group post, and I met this idiot named Spartan. And so it was us and one other guy, and I can't remember who the other guy was, but we were on a brig because Briggs had just been introduced.
So means him.
Oh yeah, I know. He's a good dude. He's just a goofball. But we were on this brig and we were fighting a skeleton ship, and I've got the video. Like, I kept this video. And if I can figure out a way, I'll edit it and put this in while I'm telling about it, because it's just such a great video. But the ship that we're fighting, because, you know, the skeleton ships were on a timer. If you didn't kill them fast enough, they would go under and they would despawn. Well, as Spartan's on a cannon and he's firing it at it as the ship despawns, and I go, they're going down, let's save cannonballs or something like that. And as soon as he lets go of the cannon, the Megalodon just comes right up at the side of the ship and does its little roar. Spartan screamed like a girl and ran below decks. And that was the first time I played with this goofball. And immediately we kept joking that, because after that he became shark bait. Like, if he was on a ship, the sharks would chase this ship all over the friggin' map. And JC, you can't tell me that that doesn't happen.
Shark bait, ooh ha ha.
Shark bait, ooh ha ha. And so we would get him on a ship, and we would immediately joke as soon as the first shark showed up. Hey, Spartan, there's your ex-wife. She's coming for that payment, buddy. It's not my wife. Yeah, it is, because they chase you around this entire map like you owe them an alimony payment. And so we just constantly said, hey, why don't we get shark bait and see if he wants to play tonight? And we both knew who we were talking about. And then, like I said earlier, through him, we met Arkin. And Arkin has become a fast and solid friend that we've played games with for the past, 3 or 4 years.
Yep, it's been a minute.
It has to be 4 years, because I met him shortly after I met Spartan. It was like a month later. And
you've been more solid friends with Arkin, just because I've been kind of in and out and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, you're still part of our little group, even when you're not there, because we always talk about what's JC doing, and we've got that group chat that we go through all the time on Facebook. And you know, we're always sharing and talking to each other, and you chime in when you can, and you know, you've got a busier life than the rest of us, because you know, I'm at home all the time.
It's fun. We're good.
Yeah, but
you don't gotta tap me up. You're good.
Yeah. Oh, come on. You know I'm telling the truth. You're my best friend. I'm going to talk you up. That's going to happen. But but Sea of Thieves has meant so much to the both of us. From the first moment I got into the alpha, and it was the last wave of alpha, I didn't think I was going to get in, and I got that email, I immediately jumped on my Xbox and started downloading the game. And as soon as the download was done, I jumped in. And setting foot on that ship for the first time and having no clue what I was doing. Like, I was lucky I got into an open crew, and they were people that had been playing through the previous alpha and this alpha, and so they explained to me, here's what you have to do, here's how you play the game, this is what each thing does, you know, don't touch the anchor while we're out in the middle of the ocean, you know, that kind of thing, here's how you load the cannons. And then whenever you got into the game with the first wave of beta, I was teaching you that stuff, and us playing together on that sloop for that first day of beta, and just rolling around like a couple of morons and doing treasure chests, because that was the only thing that was in at that time. The only thing you could do was gold hoarders. Remember?
Oh yeah, it's true.
Because we didn't get Order of Souls until a month before launch, and we didn't get merchants until launch. And so, we were just doing gold hoarder missions, and we'd go back and we'd turn stuff in, and the lag was so bad you wouldn't see your treasure come through until 30 minutes later. But we didn't care. It was,
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the lag was terrible, and that lasted through launch till about 2 weeks after launch, where it would still, and then it still happens from time to time, but you're used to it now. You know, it's just there's so many people playing, the servers are overloaded, that things like that happen, and you can't blame anybody for it. It's nobody's fault. It just means that, you know, there's a lot of people enjoying the game like you are. But day one, launch day, I'll never forget, I was up at my now ex-girlfriend's house, and I got on and started playing, and you got on and we started playing together, and I think we had somebody else, because we were playing on a galleon. We had 2 other of our friends that were on there with us, and I can't remember who they were now. But we were sitting there and we were just playing, and we were explaining to them how to do stuff. And then when everybody got the hang of it, we went out, we made money, we had these incredible adventures. Through these past 5 years, we've had stuff that we're in game and we still talk about, like stealing that fort key and running away with it and having that other ship chase us all over the seas, and you up in the crow's nest calling out where they were, and then whoever was was on the ship with us, we had 2 other people, I remember that. One of them took the key and jumped off and swam to an island, and the other ship didn't see us, and they just kept chasing us and chasing us. And eventually they lost us. We went back to the island, picked them up, and as soon as we picked them up, the servers changed. You got that thing, the seas are changing, blah, 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 blah. And so we still had the fort key. And so we were like, I wonder if this will work on any active fort. We got to find out. And there was a fort that was active, and there was a group fighting it. I will never forget this. We went to that fort, we docked our ship, and we acted like we were going to help them. But what we did is we took our key, ran straight to the treasure door, unlocked the treasure door, and then just, we went in and we stole all of their shit, got it on our boat, and left. And that's just, it's something that
They kept doing the fort, too.
Yeah,
they just, watched us.
They didn't know that we'd stolen it. They were just too busy fighting the skeletons and the skeleton captains. And so we had to go, we took the treasure and we left. And as we were leaving, I think that's when they realized what we had done. Because you saw them scrambling back to their boat.
Yep.
And so we pulled out of there, and whoever was our buddy, one of our friends, it was not the one that got off on the island, but the other one that was with us, had gotten on the bottom of their ship with 3 powder kegs. And so as they get on their ship and he hears the anchor coming up, he just powder kegs and dies. He sacrifices himself. It blows every hole in that ship, and you just see the ship going down. And we were turning in at was it Galleon's Grave? I will never forget that. And we watched the ship go down from the mountain. Like, we were on the very top where the shipwreck is, and we watched them coming at us, and then all of a sudden you just see them sink in this explosion that looked like a nuke went off. And in voice chat, the dude was like, "They ain't coming for that treasure." And so we turned everything in, and we made a good, like, what? Because this is when you can make about 15,000 gold off of a fort. And so we easily turned that much in, plus whatever else we had on the ship. And we were like, "There's nothing else that's going to top this tonight. We just got to call it." So we logged off and stayed in voice chat for an hour talking about the dumb shit. What was that? It fell. Something in my room fell. But that was just, one of the many memories that I keep with me for Sea of Thieves. And what are some of your favorite memories from Sea of Thieves, Jacie?
Well, actually, I had a lot of adventures just by myself and also with random people. Like, I went through this weird period where I don't know, I needed to kind of seclude myself from my friends, but I still needed like contact with people, so I'd play like offline with randoms.
Yeah.
This one particular time, I actually got myself a good brig going. Had someone, I don't remember who they were, so one guy on helm and one guy that was on the cannons. We encountered for some reason I kept having issues with a Reaper that wouldn't leave us alone.
Right.
And I actually ended up being like, well, besides being a freaking awesome shot with the cannon, I would try, the person on the cannon would shoot me over onto their ship. And I would just mess with them as much as I could. Like, a lot of the times I would just set their shit on fire and run downstairs and blunderbuss them. Other times I would like
So you became the human wrecking machine over there on that other ship, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like, this one particular time I actually managed to sneak over to whatchamacallit, a gunpowder barrel over to a ship, and I got down to their first level.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of it. The first deck? Second
deck?
The
bottom deck where the cages and shit are.
Yeah, and they actually had 4 of them already stashed down there, plus a stronghold one.
Oh my god.
And by then, they were already, like, on top of me, shooting at me, and so, like, I already had it lit, so by the time I saw the barrels, I was already exploding. And it was like they sunk in a matter of seconds, and I was like, hero.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
And then there's one other beautiful time where I snuck onto a galley, and this particular ship we were having really big, huge issues with because they had an alliance, so they actually had another crew piloting, like, doing their own one ship.
Right, right.
So they had like 4 people on cannons, and they had people on sails and a helmsman, and like one person on grappling trying to just like hold on to our ship. My ship, I also had a galley, and we were struggling. So, like, they were struggling to keep us afloat. And I managed to jump onto the ladder. It just happened to be like the ships collided just for a moment. I jumped over the ledge without thinking. I grabbed the rail. I got into their ship, and I had a bunch of firebombs with me. And I just kind of ran downstairs. I pulled out a plank of wood, like I was gonna repair something. And there was 3 people repairing.
You fucking troll!
I ran right by them, and none of them like even like noticed it was me. Like I was an enemy, a person, and I just went down to the bottom. I set everything on fire. Someone noticed me setting shit on fire. I killed them on the stairwell. Got up to the second floor. Set that shit on fire. And by this time, they're trying to put it out, and I'm trying to stop them. I'm slashing them and stuff. More or less, their whole ship goes up in flames.
Oh my god,
but
you
they're
fucking troll.
But unfortunately, by the time I managed to like get their shit on fire properly, my ship has sunk.
Oh, you got revenge,
So
though. That's what matters there.
I wouldn't call it revenge. They got away with our shit. They managed to put out the fire and everything. It sucked, but it was still like one of the best things I've ever done, which is I kind of just blended in with them.
Yeah, yeah. One other good story I will never forget is I was playing with another streamer. Her name's Esco Knits, a great streamer. Look them up on Twitch. They're fantastic. And she was playing by herself, and I was watching her stream because I'd watched her stuff before. And she said, I'm here playing by myself. If anyone would like to join and has the game, please let me know. And so I got into her chat. I'm like, I've got the game. And she was like, do you want to log in and play? And I was like, absolutely. I can jump in. So I jumped in with Knits, and we were going to Sailor's Bounty for a quest. And I think it was just like a riddle or an X marks the spot or something. But I'm a pirate legend, and she wasn't. And so, you know, sometimes back then, pirate legend skeletons with the mega kegs would spawn if a pirate legend was with you. Remember that shit?
Yup.
So we're on this island.
Nasty bit.
Our sloop is parked parallel to the beach, right? We're just hauling stuff up. We're getting ready to go. All of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see this skeleton raise up, and then I see it reach down and pull up the Athena keg. And I'm like, get us the fuck out of here! And she's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm like, that fucker has a nuke! We need to go! And then by that time it exploded.
That fucker has a nuke.
But our ship went down in one fucking go. We were both dead. The treasure we had on board was gone. And we were she was sitting there, she's like, I've never seen a keg that big. And I was like, yeah, those are happens when you go and do stuff with a pirate legend. And she was like, well, I don't think I want you on my ship anymore if you're a pirate legend, and this is the shit that's gonna happen. But we had fun. It's a memorable moment, and I think that's the core. Going back to the game,
story.
Yeah, it's the core of Sea of Thieves is having those memorable moments with the people that you enjoy playing games with. And yeah. I can't think of another game that encapsulates that better than Sea of Thieves. I mean, well,
I can't either.
I mean, it's meant for you to do that. That's what the game is built around, is you doing that. And with that being said, and us sharing some great stories and watching this video together and our commentary, we've been going for about an hour and a half now, JC. I definitely want to get in and play some games tonight if you're down for it. So
I am actually been kind of messing around on a ship right now, but unfortunately I have to get up early in the morning.
Oh, okay, hon.
So I was just about to get off.
But I want to thank you for taking the time to come on here with me and spend time talking about this, because we've been there since before day one. And to see this game grow and evolve and become what it is today, there have been bumps in the road, but I think that they've straightened out those bumps very easily. They've smoothed them over. They've made it part of the game. Like the whole Glitterbeard thing. Well, there's Glitterbeard sales now. There's things like that they make fun of themselves. And it's just great to think back on. And I don't think I would have enjoyed the game nearly as much if I didn't have you to play it with.
Same.
So with that, I want to thank everybody that watched this video. I want to say, if you haven't played Sea of Thieves yet, it's on Game Pass for PC. It's on Game Pass for Xbox. You can get it there for free. If you play Steam, it's on Steam. It's not free on Steam. You do have to pay for it there. It's on a lot of your major video game stores. But if you don't want to pay for it and you want to try it out because you're not sure if you're going to like it or not, Game Pass is the way to go. It's free. You have to pay for Game Pass, of course, but you go on, download it, make your own stories in this world, and have fun. Because I think if you play it, you're going to enjoy it. It's just one of those games. It may not be your go-to game, but it'll be a game that you have fun with. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Again, thank you for coming out. Thank you for listening to what we had to say. I know that we're all over the place and we were talking over some of the documentary. If you want to watch the documentary, I'll put a link to it so you can watch it without our commentary. But Jacie, thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you for being a part of the Cult of Morgue too. It means a lot that you're there in my community. And I want to thank out to everybody else in the Cult of Morgue. If you're not a member, links down below. Join up. Follow me on Twitch. Join the Discord. All of that good stuff. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the little button. I don't upload very often, but I do upload. And I'm going to be uploading more often now. So I want everybody to have a great night.